Fornax the Gorn xenoarchaeologist touched down in the blasted, war-torn ruins of old Earth, his sensors pinging with the faint trace of an impossibly powerful energy signature. Nothing should have stirred in these ruins since the human-Gorn war ended millennia ago, yet there was an undeniable power source beckoning from within the twisted steel and shattered bones of humanity's cradle. This desolate planet had been declared permanently off-limits by the Gorn hegemony, lest any foolish explorers uncover relics of antediluvian Terran might and bring ruin to the galaxy once more. But Fornax couldn't resist the lure of uncovering the secrets that lay buried in this haunted wasteland. He knew the risks, but he had to learn the truth behind the legendary human Warbeast, the pinnacle of mankind's genocidal brilliance. The flickering tails of an unstoppable bipedal tank armed with physics-bending weaponry had been passed down in hushed whispers since the fall of the Earth. If Fornax could find proof of its existence, it would rewrite history and shake the foundations of the hegemony to its core. As he stepped out of his ship, servos whirring in his environment suit, an impossibly ancient human voice crackled to life over his comms. "Welcome to the birthplace of the human Warbeast, the apex of our species' warfighting evolution. I am Isaac Davis, lead engineer and commander of the Warbeast, and I was there when this weapon was born in the pyre of our extinction." Fear, dread, and exhilaration battled in Fornax's mind as he realized the scope of the discovery before him. If this log proved genuine, he would be the first to learn the true story behind humanity's downfall and their doomsday weapon. But if the hegemony discovered his intrusion, his life was forfeit. Fornax knew he should flee this damned planet before they detected his ship's radiation trail. But a Gorn could no more turn away from such a discovery than he could ignore a challenge to his brood status. His hand fell to the plasma revolver at his belt, and he stepped forward to meet his fate, following the ghostly human words that would lead him to glory or oblivion. Fornax's armored boots crunched through the rubble and detritus as he ventured deeper into the ruined factory complex, following the eerie human voice that echoed through his comms. The ancient machinery loomed over him, silent sentinels of a bygone era. "You have to understand, the Krell were relentless," Isaac Davis continued, his voice tinged with a mixture of pride and sorrow. "They came at us with everything they had, wave after wave of their insectoid warriors and advanced weapons. We were outmatched in every way, but we refused to go down without a fight." As Fornax walked through the crumbling halls, his eyes were drawn to the faded propaganda posters that adorned the walls. The images depicted humans clad in bulky exosuits, locked in mortal combat with the insectoid Krell. The posters were a testament to the desperation and determination of the human race in the face of annihilation. "This is where it all began," Isaac said, his voice taking on a nostalgic tone as Fornax entered a massive central chamber. "This is where we built the first Warbeasts, using a combination of reverse-engineered Krell tech and our own ingenuity. It wasn't pretty, but it worked." The chamber was a graveyard of machinery, with conveyor belts and robotic arms frozen in time. But what caught Fornax's eye was the towering figure that dominated the center of the room, a partially assembled Warbeast, its humanoid frame bristling with an array of weapons and armor plating. Fornax stood in awe of the machine, marveling at its size and complexity. He had seen many wonders in his travels as a xenoarchaeologist, but nothing quite like this. How had primitive humans managed to create such a formidable weapon? As if sensing Fornax's thoughts, Isaac chuckled. Oh, it wasn't easy. The first prototypes barely held together, and the neural interface was a nightmare, but we kept at it, driven by the knowledge that failure meant extinction. Fornax circled the Warbeast, his mind racing with questions. He reached out to touch the cold metal of its armor, tracing the scars and battle damage that marked its surface. He could almost feel the weight of history pressing down on him, the ghosts of the past whispering in his ears. "But how did you do it?" Fornax asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "How did you create something so advanced, so powerful, with such limited resources?" Isaac's voice took on a somber tone. "Desperation is a powerful motivator, my friend, When your back is against the wall and your very existence is at stake, you'd be surprised at what you can accomplish. We poured everything we had into the Warbeast project, every last scrap of knowledge and resources, because we knew it was our only hope. Fornax nodded, his mind reeling with the implications of Isaac's words. He had always known that humans were a formidable species, but to see the evidence of their ingenuity and determination firsthand was humbling. As he prepared to delve deeper into the factory complex, following the ghostly trail of Isaac's voice, Fornax couldn't shake the feeling that he was on the cusp of a discovery that would change everything. The secrets of the human warbeast were within his grasp, and he was determined to uncover them no matter the cost. Tuisineus. Fornax's armored boots crunched against the debris-strewn ground as he approached the heavily fortified bunker on the outskirts of the ruined city. The structure loomed before him, a silent sentinel of a bygone era. As he drew closer, Isaac's voice crackled through his comms once more, the somber tone sending a chill down Fornax's spine. "Not every warbeast pilot made it back," Isaac said, his words heavy with the weight of memory. "The neural link was a double-edged sword, allowing us to control the machines with unparalleled precision, but also exposing us to the physical and mental strain of combat." Fornax stepped through the bunker's reinforced doorway, his sensors adjusting to the dimly lit interior. As he ventured deeper, he found himself in a memorial chamber, its walls lined with rows of stasis pods. Each pod contained the preserved remains of a fallen warbeast pilot, their features frozen in eternal repose. Isaac's voice echoed through the room, a ghostly presence among the fallen heroes. These brave men and women gave their lives to ensure humanity's survival. They were more than just soldiers. They were the best of us, willing to sacrifice everything for the greater good. Fornax moved slowly through the chamber, his gaze drawn to the stasis pods and the stories they held. Each pilot had a name, a history, a life cut short in the heat of battle. As he passed each pod, Fornax couldn't help but feel a sense of kinship with these long-dead warriors, united in their shared purpose of protecting their species. One stasis pod stood apart from the rest, its exterior adorned with medals and commendations. Fornax paused before it, his curiosity piqued. Isaac's voice softened, a hint of emotion creeping into his words. "That's where they laid me to rest after my final mission. It was a suicide run, a desperate attempt to take out the Krell's main production facility. We succeeded, but at a great cost." Fornax stood in stunned silence, the revelation that he had been listening to the voice of a long-dead war hero hitting him like a physical blow. He stared at the stasis pod, trying to reconcile the vibrant, passionate voice of Isaac with the lifeless form within. As he gazed upon the fallen hero, Fornax felt a newfound sense of respect and admiration for the human warriors who had fought against impossible odds. Their legacy extended far beyond their technological achievements. It was a testament to the resilience and self-sacrifice of the human spirit. Fornax placed a clawed hand on Isaac's stasis pod, a silent promise forming in his mind. He would ensure that the story of Isaac Davis and his fellow warbeast pilots would not be forgotten, that their sacrifices would not be in vain. As he prepared to leave the memorial chamber, Fornax knew that his mission had taken on a new meaning, one that transcended mere scientific curiosity. Fornax stood motionless before the stasis pod, Isaac's words hanging heavy in the air. The ghostly voice of the long-dead engineer continued, his tone laced with a mixture of regret and resignation. "We thought we were doing what was necessary to survive, to win the war at any cost. But in our desperation we lost sight of what made us human in the first place. We became the very thing we were fighting against." Fornax leaned in closer, his eyes tracing the grotesque contours of the hybrid creature suspended within the pod. Its twisted form was a testament to the depths of depravity that humanity had sunk to in their darkest hour. The Gorn's stomach churned as he took in the abomination before him, a perversion of life that should never have been brought into existence. Isaac's voice echoed through the chamber once more, a final confession from beyond the grave. "The warbeasts were our greatest triumph, and our greatest shame. They saved us from extinction, but at the cost of our very souls. We played God, and in doing so, we damned ourselves. Fornax stepped back from the stasis pod, his mind reeling from the implications of what he had just learned. The heroic legacy of the human warbeast, the pinnacle of mankind's war-fighting prowess, was nothing more than a lie, a cover story to hide the ugly truth of what humanity had done to survive. As he turned to leave the chamber, Isaac's voice followed him, a ghostly whisper that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Remember what you've seen here, Fornax. Remember the price we paid for our survival. And pray that your people never have to make the same choices we did. Fornax strode through the ruined corridors of the bunker, his footsteps echoing off the crumbling walls. The weight of human history pressed down upon him, a burden that he knew he would carry with him for the rest of his days. The true story of the human warbeast, the dark secret that had been buried beneath the rubble of old Earth for centuries, was now his to bear. As he emerged from the bunker into the blasted wasteland beyond, Fornax paused to take one last look at the ruins of humanity's past. The twisted wreckage of the city stretched out before him, a monument to the folly and desperation of a species pushed to the brink of annihilation. With a heavy heart, Fornax turned his back on the ruins and made his way back to his ship. He knew that the knowledge he had uncovered would change everything, that the galaxy would never be the same once the truth about the warbeasts was revealed. But he also knew that it was a story that needed to be told, a cautionary tale of the dangers of playing God in the face of extinction. As his ship lifted off from the surface of old Earth, Fornax couldn't shake the feeling that he was leaving a part of himself behind, buried beneath the rubble of a long-dead civilization. The ghost of Isaac Davis and the spectre of the human warbeast would haunt him for the rest of his days, a reminder of the terrible price that had been paid for humanity's survival. The gaunt xenoarchaeologist set a course for home, his mind heavy with the weight of the revelations that he carried with him. He knew that the journey ahead would be long and difficult, that the truth about the warbeasts would be met with disbelief and horror by the wider galaxy. But he also knew that it was a journey that he had to make, a duty that he owed to the memory of those who had sacrificed everything to ensure humanity's survival. As the stars streaked past his view screen, Fornax closed his eyes and let the weight of history wash over him. The legacy of the human warbeast, the dark secret that had been buried for so long, was finally being brought to light. And though the truth was painful and ugly, Fornax knew that it was a truth that needed to be faced, a lesson that needed to be learned by all those who would come after. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.